Hi, my name is Riley, and I am going to be talking about core teaching skills and the service learning I had to do this fall. Okay, so a little bit about me. Like I said, my name is Riley. This was my first year at K-State. I am in my blocks. I transferred from Cloud, and I'm 22. I have my substitute license. I have been a part of kids' lives for forever. I volunteered for 4-H, just like helping when I was done with 4-H. And then I also did church after school program, and I was a volleyball coach my senior year of high school. And so just being in education, just being with students and kiddos was always just a really big part of my life growing up. Okay, so what did I learn? The first thing I learned, and I really felt like was very much stressed to us, was connection. Connection is such a huge thing, and you need to build a connection just right on the first day. So Lori and Kaylee, they had talked to us about how important it is to connect. You need to connect with the student, the teacher, all of the family, of course the student, because that's who you see every day. And this really was like pushed in our heads, I feel like, just throughout. And they did such a great job. We would come into class every so often, and they would like ask us just like weird questions that we were like, what does this have to do with class? But like, it was so much fun because we were learning a little bit about each other all the time. We did Padlets. Those were the best because we could see everybody's answers, even the shy kids, they answered. So that was super fun. Because those Padlets, they're also anonymous. So everyone wanted to answer because it didn't matter what your answer was. And if they asked about one of the answers, then if you wanted to, you could share, or you didn't have to. So right there at the very beginning, they were showing us how to connect by connecting with us. And there's 2 of them, and there was like 50 of us. And so that was super cool because they somehow were able to connect with 50 students. And so it just showed me like it's possible for me to connect with 12 kids that I have in class because they were able to do it 2 against 50. And I loved that. Oops, I forgot about that. Okay, so then the next thing was classroom management. And like I said at the beginning, I am a substitute teacher. And when we started talking about classroom management, I took so much away from classroom management that they taught us. Because classroom management is it's like your personality, but in the classroom. So if you run a smooth show, which depending on what grade you're in, it may not be a smooth show ever. But if you're organized and you run a smooth show and they know what they're supposed to be doing, or we were talking about like snaps and then a clap that would get their attention. So I didn't come up with my own. I'm sure other teachers use this, but when I was subbing, classroom management was just like, I remembered it. Like, if I don't have anything else to offer as a substitute, it better just be classroom management that I have to offer, because other teachers are going to see how I'm running a classroom. And if my students, even on the first day, if they're not listening to me, if they just don't automatically have respect for me, that shows that's my personality in the classroom. That's okay. They don't have respect for me. So yeah, I came up with, I would count down, and I did younger kids. So right now I've been subbing a lot for kindergarten. So this really helped them, and they know their numbers. So it even worked out better. So once I started counting down 5, 4, 3, 2, and by 1, they better be frozen. They better be quiet. So that was just a super great way. And then I had subbed for a teacher that she used a bell. So she would go over to her, like, she had just one table that only had a bell on it. And so students, they would see her walk up to that bell. So then that's when they started getting quiet. But if they weren't paying attention and they heard the bell, that meant zip it and freeze. We have instructions to listen to. And I loved that because it wasn't like we were yelling at them saying, okay, time to be quiet. Okay, it's time to do this. We let them know this is a sign, like it is time to pay attention. We would appreciate it. So I also learned with classroom management, a lot of students don't care about your opinions. So if you are walking around and you want to line your kiddos up and say, Johnny, oh, I love the way Johnny is sitting. Please line up, Johnny. They don't care. They don't care that you like the way something is being done, especially if you're a sub, because according to them, especially the younger kids, you are new, you are a sub, you do not know. And so that for me was super hard. But yeah, I learned with classroom management as well, rewording my sentences. So instead of saying that I like the way that this person is doing this, I would just say, thank you, or like encourage it, respond to it in a positive way. So that classroom management. Oh my gosh, every single time I got ready to sub, like I would go to bed the night before, like, okay, classroom management, how I have this grade today. So, today is a Friday, and on Wednesday and Thursday, I was a kindergarten sub this week. And then today I actually just got home, from subbing for an art teacher that has, 9th through 12th grade. And so that was like a huge switch for me, but I managed it because I knew it was coming and I knew what I needed to look for. Okay, we need to move on. Okay, so this was the very first school I started at with my service learning. I started at Hanover preschool, and I was a volunteer. I was coming in when I could, and it ended up being that, like, at the first of the semester, I was so free. I was like, I'm barely working. I could just go in all the time. Like, I could wait till midnight to do homework if I wanted to. That is not the case anymore. And I'm kind of glad it's not the case. So people talk about how some schools are good schools, some schools are not good schools. And I very sadly realized, like, Hanover's administration was just, it wasn't for me. It was the closest school. I live in Hanover, and so it was the closest school for me. And they wanted help everywhere throughout the school, but they put it where they needed it most. And so that's why I was with preschool. I didn't ask to be with preschool, but I really wanted to get in the classroom, and I really wanted to get in, especially with all ages, because I know I'm going into elementary education, but I didn't know, like, elementary education is kindergarten through 6th grade. So I didn't know for sure. And starting with preschool right off the bat, I was like, oh my goodness, this takes a special person. So if that's what you are planning to do, you are a special person, like, for real. Okay, so Washington County Elementary. So I live in Washington County. However, it's just like, it's so weird. It's like 10 minutes away, but it's a whole different school. And anyway, I absolutely loved this school. This was the very first time I ever subbed. I was not a volunteer. I was subbing. This is the very first school I subbed at. And I was a music teacher sub. The music teacher was not hired as a teacher. The music teacher was hired because of her sub license and experience with music. She has no teaching license, which was super interesting for me. But I made so many good relationships with teachers here, not even the kids. Like, I mean, I did with the kids, but the teachers even, it blew my mind because they were like so happy to have me. I came back. I think I've been there 5 or 6 times. I was offered an unofficial job with them. Like, it was so great. And then where I work, like my full-time job, it's my full-time job. Where I work with this lady that her grandson goes to this school and he's a 3rd grader. And I guess, she had no idea, like who he was talking about, but then he had said Miss Riley and she knew me, and she came to me the next day at work and she was like, oh my gosh, my grandson loves you so much. And it was like, I didn't even know like I had a connection already, like outside of the school, but she's within the school. Like, it was so amazing. I loved it. And then I went back and I was walking the hallways. I came back a month later. Like, that's how spread out I was from being a music teacher sub to being the kindergarten sub this week. I came back a month later and I still had kids saying, oh, she's back. Miss Riley, you're back. And it was like, my heart, like, that's what it's all about, because it just made me feel good. And I knew I had to have been doing something right. Like, they don't have me as a full-time teacher, but they're so excited. They remembered my name after a month. Not a lot of kids do that. Subbing at this school has so far been so rewarding. Okay, so Valley Heights Elementary and High School. I graduated from Valley Heights, so it's been super weird subbing for Valley Heights. But Valley Heights Elementary, I was a 2nd grade sub. Loved it so much. Loved it. And then, like I said, today I did the high school art. And then I have 3 days next week. Yes, this late in December, they have school. They have school 3 days next week. So the 20th, 21st, and 22nd. And I am a kindergarten sub over there. I've really loved it. I knew I was going to have connections here, so it's just kind of been weird going back. I don't know a lot of the kids. I do have good connections within the school and with teachers that were my teachers 5 years ago. And so that's been super good to kind of like go back and see. But it's been a really good school, and I feel like I'm running out of time. But yeah, I've loved it. I get to go back and they're like, oh, you're back. Oh, your brothers. Oh, this. Like, I knew I had connections there, so I don't think I was so as surprised subbing for Valley Heights, but like I was for Washington. Washington has just been over the moon for me. Okay, so growth. I wanted to touch on my growth because I have had so much personal growth and so much educational growth. It's so crazy. And my mom sees it and my boyfriend sees it, and like, that is rewarding because like I feel good, but like other people see that I'm doing good. And so that's almost as rewarding as having 3rd graders remember your name after not seeing you for a month. So, yeah, my growth, my personal growth, I'm so much more confident. I remember when I was first going into sub and I was just like, oh gosh, do I have to? Like, I know this is what I really want to do, but they don't even know me. They're never going to remember me. Boy, was I wrong. I was so wrong. That's my confidence has just skyrocketed for me. My educational growth, I feel like before I started school, I knew things about children. However, I did not. And I have learned so much. The classroom management and making connections, like, yeah, it sounds like common sense, but it's not. Like, give our professors and our teachers some time to work with us. Give them a month, and they're going to be touching your hearts, because your educational growth you're not going to think, oh, I already knew that. You will never once think that when you're taking core teaching skills. So, okay. So I wanted to touch on K-State because I had a meeting with my advisor, and I had to stress how much I have loved this program. I wish if anyone was on the fence to go to K-State for elementary education, I wish I could just like grab their hands and say, go, you need to go. It's so worth it. Your teachers, they're there for you. Like, just, you need to go. Because that's how I have felt this whole semester. It's my first semester at K-State. I was scared out of my mind the week before classes started. I was like, oh, it's too big. All of my classes. I have all these buildings to go to, all these room numbers. No, it is okay. It has been so worth it. I wish I could stress to other people how much K-State, the elementary education program, the education program has they've pushed me so much. Okay. So to end on a different kind of note, I want to talk about tips that are going to help you, and recommendations that I could give you. My tips: do your best. Some of this stuff you don't need to study. Teaching is really from the heart. So if it feels right, if you know something you're going to do as a teacher is going to be the best for your students, that probably means that it is going to be the best for your students. I just really believe you don't need a textbook to be a teacher. It comes from the heart. You'll get into it, I promise. All of your professors, especially Lori and Kaylee, they're there for you. They want to know if you are struggling. They know it is okay to struggle. If you are struggling, communicate it with them, because it's okay. And they will tell you it's okay. They want you there. They want your ears. They want you to do your best. They want to see you grow. And then my last tip is take the darn lotion. Lori isn't scary. Lori brings lotion. Take that lotion. For real, because right off the bat, if you're going up there and you're taking lotion from her, you're going to start a conversation with Lori. You're going to talk to Kaylee on your way back to your seat. Like I said, connection is important, and you're going to make those connections with Lori and Kaylee, and you're going to be glad that you did. They trust you. They want to see you succeed, and that is all that they have done for me. And I stress to my advisor how well Lori and Kaylee were as teachers, because it was like they were so much more than teachers. They share stories that could very well happen to you that will literally just make you get goosebumps. They are amazing. So take that lotion and be honest with them and tell them that you're doing well. Tell them you love their class. Tell them if you're struggling with their class, they're going to help you. They don't want to not hear about it. They want to. They want to hear about the good. They want to hear about the bad. And they're going to share the good, and they're going to share the bad with you. All right. Well, that was a lot longer than I thought it was going to be. But I hope I gave some good advice. And yes, elementary education is for you. And I hope you enjoy core teaching skills, because I did.